Okay, so good day, guys. I'm doing a video lecture for all lessons under Unit 3. So, if you recall, I have sent in your GC the learning contents no, for the rest of the topics for the finals. So, this is just but one of those. And um, this unit actually consists of 3 lessons. So, um, this video lecture is just but for lesson 1. I-chop-chop natin para hindi masyadong mahaba. Okay, so you expect therefore that I will be doing 3 uh, video lectures for Unit 3. Okay, so I have in here the unit objectives. Of course, we will be looking into Unit 3, by the way, is entitled Organization and Management of Learner-Centered Classrooms. So basically, what we will be talking about in this um, lesson would be on classroom management and discipline that is context to learner-centered. No? So we will look into what classroom management is, what discipline is, okay? And then eventually, part of what we will be discussing would also be on the roles and responsibilities of teachers and learners in learner-centered classrooms, no? With regard classroom management and at the same time ensuring discipline. Okay, and then part of what we will also be looking into would be the strategies. No? So what are appropriate actions that are to be used, no, by the teacher, and at the same time what are expected of them, no, by the teacher, to the teachers and to the students as well, um, in relation to the maintenance of classroom order. Okay, and then with the hope that all of these concepts and principles, you know, that you would learn basically on this lesson or on this unit would be utilized in classroom situations. Okay, so we begin with this phrase, no? Teachers must be in the driver's seat. You see, teachers are likened to drivers, no? So para rin silang mga drivers. Ano bang ginagawa ng driver, no? Um, he is in control of, he is in charge for the ferrying of the passengers. Okay? So, like drivers, um, teachers respond to the needs of the passengers. Who are the passengers? The learners, no? So what is the goal ba of a driver? Is it not that the driver would ferry the passenger to their destination? So in the same manner that a teacher would also help learners, no, arrive at their destination. And what is the destination? What is the ultimate goal of learners? For them, of course, to what be able to not only learn knowledge but the skills, the competencies, no, um, uh, yung skills, knowledge and attitudes na sinasabi natin, no, which are aligned to the specific learning outcome of the program to where they are enrolled to. Okay, so it says here that this analogy um, comparing teachers to drivers, no, are actually or is actually telling us that there are rules, no, that teachers have to follow, no. So in teaching, there are also certain rules with regard classroom management, with regard maintenance of discipline and classroom order. Okay, that has to be understood and at the same time used by teachers. Okay, so It says here that this analogy entails that there are rules to follow, taking note that the vehicle or the classroom must be in good condition. So just imagine a classroom that is not so convenient, or what do you call that, that the ambience of the classroom is not supportive of learning. So what it says here is that if you're a teacher, part of your responsibility is to look into your classroom, okay? Because this is the venue of the learning session. This is where you conduct your learning session. So what are some of the characteristics of the classroom itself which could be contributory, or which may facilitate or hamper learning? No? So you look into the ventilation, you look into whether there is proper lighting, no? The physical arrangement, and not only the physical structure of it, but at the same time the ambience as well, no? The atmosphere of the class, no? Okay, so no driver can become a good driver right away, meaning to say teachers would always there would always be a room for improvement, no, when it comes to practices along classroom management and all, no? So it needs experience and practice, but nevertheless this part of the lecture actually is a way of help, no, for you future teachers, no, to be more likely knowledgeable as to what is it that you can do later, no, when you are in your own um classrooms, no? So how would you manage um student behavior, and at the same time structure the classroom in a manner that it could be contributory or facilitative to learning. Okay? So, lesson one of this unit would talk about classroom management. Okay? And as for our lesson objectives, we will be looking into the importance of classroom management. But definitely, we have to understand first the concept of classroom management. Okay? So, we will also be laying down some guidelines and principles of classroom management, and with the hope that these guidelines and principles would be applied later on in the classroom context. Okay? So this is an activity which I will be asking you to do. I will be giving the detailed instruction in your GC. So you could do this in what, in a group. Siguro we'll look into the possibility of it being a group task. Okay, but definitely what this activity is just trying to establish, no, is based on your experiences, no, you try to reflect on how your teachers, no, in the past, no, be it in your elementary or in your secondary, no, um uh experience, no, your experiences during these times of your life, relative to how your teachers were able to handle classroom activities, no, like those that are enumerated on the table. Okay? So it's a matter of you recalling your respective experiences on how your teacher manages actually the class relative to these activities. Okay? So this would now lead us to the concept of classroom management. So what is classroom management? Okay? Classroom management refers to the efforts of a teacher to organize classroom activities, no, including learning, social interaction, and even student behavior. So it is a way to establish and maintain the classroom as an effective environment for teaching and learning. Okay? So you have to consider the fact that um, for you to be able to learn effectively, you have to consider factors. And one of the very factors would be this classroom management. Okay. Whenever there are activities, no, given by your teachers, um, how were you able to carry it out? No, is it in a manner that there are clear instructions that the activities are organized, no? I mean, you could follow through the instruction given to you by your teachers. And the classroom itself is structured for the activity. And that you are well aware and prepared of the activity, no? Kasi yun yung isa sa mga kailangan ninyong i-consider, no? How yung law of readiness na sinasabi nila, no? Are you developmentally prepared for the activity? Is it something that is in consonance to your developmental stage, or is it something that is also relevant, no? Kasi syempre yun yung isa sa mga tinitingnan ninyo. Itong si ma'am naman bigay ng activity, irrelevant naman, no? So things like this, okay? So classroom management is a teacher's responsibility that has to do with procedures, routines, and structure. Okay? So whenever there are tasks given by your teachers, are the procedures clear and precise that you're able to actually follow, no? Were there established routines, no? I meaning to say, um, you are comfortable of doing things because it's not really your first time of doing it, no, because it has been part of actually your classroom routine. Okay, so the structure even of the classroom is in a manner that actually would help you carry out the activity effectively, no, or in a manner na you are safe doing the activity. Okay? Especially in your case as BPED, um, specializing in BPED, no? Kung halimbawa yung task ninyo has to do with physical tasks, no? Um, yun bang paggaganapan ng activity ay appropriate for it, no? So these are all part of what we call classroom management. Now, for us to substantiate the concept of classroom management, no, we also look into this slide, no. So classroom management refers to the wide variety of skills and techniques that teachers use to keep students organized, focused, orderly, attentive on task, and academically productive during a class. Okay? So, for a teacher, they have certain goals whenever they enter your classrooms, no? And of course, part of that is to deliver the content. Or when there are tasks to substantiate the delivery of the content, the goal of the teacher definitely is to let you do the task and learn from the task as well, no? Relate the task to the content that they wanted you to learn or understand, no? So how could teachers be able to do this, no? Through a variety of techniques, no? And these techniques are integrated into what we call classroom management strategies of the teacher, no? So classroom management is defined as the methods and strategies an educator uses to maintain a classroom environment that is conducive to student success and learning, so that when at the end of the class you were able to learn something, and that you think the teacher was actually very effective in the delivery of the content, and that you believe that as you go out or move out of the door of the room, you were able to learn something, then most likely your teacher was or have a what we call, your teachers have a good classroom management technique, or an effective classroom management technique. Now, classroom management involves controlling behavior that impede learning. So part of what is um, part of the concept of classroom management is discipline. No? So how could teachers um, ensure that all students are actually directed to learning? And those students who are not really interested to learn would still, would still cooperate, or would still have hindi naman siguro fear, no, would still be motivated, no, to cooperate or to do the task and to cooperate with the teacher. Okay? So, classroom management, therefore, involves the following factors, no? So, first, we have the behavior. Okay? So, positive attitude, happy facial expressions, encouraging statements, both from teachers and students. Okay? So, it's not only the learner's behavior, but the teacher's behavior. Anyway, we will be looking into these concepts as we move onto the next slides, or onto the subsequent slides. Okay? So, um, if there are behavior which are distracting, no, on the part of the learners, how do teachers, for example, manage such behavior? So those all form part of what we call classroom management. Now another is the environment. No? So how does the teacher structure the environment in a manner that it is very welcoming, that it is really conducive for learning, no, that students are inspired to learn whenever they enter the classroom, no? So do you feel this whenever you enter the classroom here in the college, no? Do you feel like the classrooms you are using are really conducive, no, venues for learning, no? So I don't know, but during your elementary, most probably you could see your rooms as very enticing places, no? It's a very enticing place for you to actually learn. Okay? Then we also have expectations. So, who lays down the expectation? No, usually it's the teacher, but I think it must be both. No, if you recall, there are teachers who ask you of your expectations of the subject or of the course at the start of the class, or at the start of the semester or the school year, no? So the expectation as to how you should behave, as to the outputs, or yeah, the quality of the outputs that you have to submit, no? So the expectations, even in terms of attendance, I think these are all laid down, no? There are actually course syllabus which would even include, no, these expectations. Okay? And then we have materials, no? So the instructional materials, the text, the teaching methods, the learning aids, and the resources used, no? Who prepares? How is it prepared? Usually, do you find these learning materials or also helpful, ensuring that you are actually learning? Okay, so these all form part of what we call classroom management. And at the same time, the activities, no? So you reflect onto how teachers design the activities, and how teachers manage to what sustain your engagement in the activities. Okay? So we look into some key elements of classroom management. In fact, these are concepts which I included in your in this lecture. No, these were not these were not included in the learning content that I've sent, but I just saw that these are relevant, and so I included it in here. So if you will be listening to this discussion, then most likely you would understand, no, how relevant these concepts are in relation to classroom management. Okay, so what are some of the elements, or what are the key elements of classroom management? So first is the classroom design. Okay, so you remember, you have to look into how the classroom is structured. Okay, so is the classroom structured in a manner that it facilitates learning, no? So ang pinakatitingnan lang ninyo is yun nga, yung ventilation, hindi ba masyadong mainit na naiirita kayong makinig, lalong-lalo na kapag ang daming pinagdadakdak ng guro, no? So ibig sabihin, is there enough ceiling fans or electric fans? No? Siguro sabihin nyo, hindi na kailangan ma'am kasi air conditioned naman yung room namin. Wow, no? In fact, that's the very ideal classroom, that it has its own that it is air conditioned, no? So um in some schools, natural, lalong-lalo na pag government schools, rare kayong makakakita na air condition ang bawat classroom, no? Pero ang importante diyan ay it still that you are comfortable learning. So kahit walang air condition, kung merong mga ceiling fans or electric fans, okay? Na functional, okay? Now, what about the placement of the teacher's desk, the whiteboard or the blackboard? No? May mga ibig bang sabihin? Okay, actually, pag-uusapan natin 'yan. There is a presentation, or there is a specific slide na magsasabi ng kung anong ibig sabihin. Meron bang kinalaman ang placement ng teacher's desk kung teacher-centered or learner-centered yung placement? So titingnan natin later on as soon as we have that slide, okay? As soon as we reach that particular slide. So it says here that even the positioning of the desk, the displays, meaning to say yung mga visual aids, kung merong mga visual aids. Although nung time na si VP Duterte ang secretary, pinatanggal niya yung lahat ng mga visuals, 'di ba, sa loob ng classroom. This is true in DepEd, no? So for the classrooms in elementary and in secondary, lahat ng mga feeling nilang eyesore, no? Ay natanggal, no? So ayan. Storage and equipment to create a warm and welcoming room. So, is the structure of the classroom does it convey warmth, no? And a welcoming ambience, okay? So, all unnecessary and distracting items from the classroom need to be removed. Siguro ito yung basis ni Sarah kung bakit pinatanggal niya yung mga ibang visuals, no? So the seating arrangement of students is also very important, no? I think this is not much in college because rare. Meron ba kayong mga teachers na to the extent na pati yung seating arrangement ay order niya? Meron pa bang mga ganong teachers? Kasi at times you are allowed to sit where you are most comfortable. Ha? Now, we also have rules, no? So who lay down the rules? No, it depends. Okay? Usually in tertiary education, there are specific rules that you have to obey, no? Relative to your behavior once you are in the school or inside the school or even inside the classroom. or even when you relate with your teachers either inside or outside the school. Okay? So meron tayong tinatawag na student code of discipline. This lay down the rules even in terms of what is expected of you as to your output. No? Merong mga provisions on plagiarism, on cheating. So these are all um, instances that had to be governed by rules. Okay? So it says here that development of rules that foster respect, caring, and community in the classroom. The expectations for behavior should be made clear at the beginning of the year by reviewing these rules with students. Further, these rules should be strengthened by reinforcement. Although what we do in college is that you're given information through orientations. So at the start of the school year, you are when upon enrollment actually, you are given the student handbook, 'di ba? Nandoon na ang lahat ng rules, academic man, no, pagdating sa enrolling, dropping, shifting nandoon. Okay? And then pati yung mga uniforms and all, pati pagdating sa completion of grades, no? And even how you should conduct yourselves inside the classroom or inside the school. Okay? So what it says here is that when crafting rules, no, it must ensure that the rules are humanized, no? And therefore, it needs what? It needs your representation as students. So kaya kayo may mga officers ay para to represent you whenever there are instances where the institution calls for the crafting of rules or policies. Okay? So, ang rules daw ay kailangang i-strengthen at i-reinforce when you implement, no, kung minsan yun ang kulang sa atin, lalong-lalo na yung rule on uniform, di ba? Hindi tayo consistent. Hmm. Ako ay guilty dyan kasi well, I don't know but siguro yung human consideration, no, most of the time, no? So there are, I don't know if you observe, no, are these well implemented, no, in CSU for instance, no, are rules or is the rule on the usage of proper uniform being strictly implemented, no? No, may meron tayong wash day, no? At usually medyo ano kasi yan eh, may mga students kasi na um, contributory din sa tawag dyan, failure ng implementation ng rule on school uniform. Although of course, if only if teachers are consistent and well strict enough, no, to implement, no, rules, and I'm sure all of you would comply or would obey. Okay? So speaking of that, we have discipline as another key element of classroom management, no? So when, for instance, there are defiances or non-compliances to the rules, then definitely there are consequences. Okay? So if, for instance, at the first day of the class, the teacher had laid down the rules and um, uh, the rules were not actually complied, no? So most likely you are to face what? Specific consequences. And when teachers would give punishments, no, because discipline usually is equated to punishment, though it's not always the case. Okay? But it always, but it in in reality kasi, no, when we talk about discipline, we could not exclude punishment, no? Because the very purpose of why we punish, why we have what we call negative punishment is what? We wanted the individual to learn that with respect to his or her behavior, there are specific consequences. No? So, it's not the person that you are actually disliking anyway when you punish. No, it's the act. No? In the first place, the learner would not be punished if there was no act that if there was no defiance, no, if there was no act that clearly shows that there is a violation of a specific rule. Okay? So the teacher therefore should be firm, fair, and consistent. No? When you punish, although there are slides later on where we will be discussing punishment, no? But as early as now, I am making emphasis that punishment could only be an effective way of modifying behavior if first they are reasonable, meaning to say that the one giving the punishment is fair, that he or she punishes because there are acts that are actually what? Obviously worth punishing. Parang ganon. Okay? And that it must be immediate and firm, meaning to say, when I disobey or when I did not follow the rule at this specific time, right there and then, the learner who did not disobey must what? Must be punished. No? Why? Although there are what we call, there are cases of hindi ba ma'am may due course or may due process. Siyempre may due process. But upon finding of guilt on the part of the learner who disobeyed or who broke the rule, then right there and then, the teacher, no, or the one in charge of giving the punishment must be firm and must be immediate. Must give the punishment immediately. No? Bakit? Para ma-establish na kaya mo na-receive yung punishment or kaya ka napapunish ngayon ay dahil dun sa act na nagawa mo. Okay? And that punishment must be consistent. No? Meaning to say, it is applied to all. When one learner was punished because of this act, okay, another learner who committed the same act must also merit the same punishment. No? It may not be it may not be the same as to gravity, but definitely, all of these things are considered. So consistency, firmness, and fairness. Okay? He must begin by warning the students. Okay. Kaya napansin niyo sa Student Code of Discipline, meron yung first warning. So meron munang warning. Hanggang third warning actually. Okay? And should you not be able to still follow rules despite of the many warnings, then you deserve the punishment. Okay? So there are demerits, detention, and other official reprimands. Okay? So the same is true with classroom management. Whenever there are there are misbehaviors, there are non-compliances, the teacher should also be following the same, no? Well, depending on the agreement, no, between the teacher and the learner. And usually this, as I mentioned earlier, is stipulated in the student or in the course syllabus. Okay? Ano pa? Even if you discipline, there must be no corporal punishment. No? Kasi meron tayong mga batas mga child abuse laws, no, protection laws for learners. You cannot do that. You might be working too hard for your LPT, but in a moment your license could be revoked because of what? Just because you spunk or you hit or you harass or you embarrass a certain student. Okay? Masyado nang powerful ang mga bata ngayon. Konting pagsabihan mo sila, mapapahiya na sila. Then they claim for what? Damage. No? I am emotionally disturbed, psychologically affected because of the embarrassment that I suffered from the verbal admonishment of my teacher. Kunadan, nalpas katan kasjay. Okay? So scheduling. Scheduling is also part of the element in classroom management. So imagine if you are scheduled 7 o'clock a.m., okay? Opening ka, tapos closing 7 p.m. 'Di ba? Kayo nga, 'di ba, you try to reflect onto the kind of schedules you have. No, are you happy with your schedule, with your class schedule? No? If you have downtime, kapag may bakanteng oras kayo, ah ilang oras ba 'yon within the day, no? Meron at meron tayong schedule in our class. Mayroon at merong araw na toxic tayo. Merong mga araw din na nakaka-bored, no? Parang boring mag-antay, no? Okay? So, it says here, even when, for instance, your schedules also when it comes to your submission of tasks, no? When you submit tasks, no? Um, are you given enough time to actually prepare for your outputs? Okay, so because these also are part of what we call schedule, no? So the space also before and after every task, lunch and recess, no? Although syempre sa college wala na kayong recess, no? But you are still given in your schedule. Is there enough time for you also to take your lunch? No? Are you also given enough break for you to what? To do your siguro um reviewing or assignments, no? So ayan, so ito ay outside our control, no? Kami din na mga teachers, it's outside our control. When we are given schedule as early as 7 a.m., we cannot do otherwise but to comply because of course this is a management prerogative, no? So if the scheduler, for instance, in our case here in CHK, the one who has the power to schedule is Sir J, no? So kung gusto mong pakiusapan na si Sir J, ay napapakiusapan ba si Sir J? Kung minsan, 'di ba? Yung considerations na halimbawa kapag may baby ka, ako nung kapapanganak ko, no? So, 'yun ang maganda sa din natin, no? She takes into consideration the context or the situation of the employees or of the teachers, no? So, when I deliver nung kapapanganak ko, um Siyempre yung 7 o'clock challenge, no? Kasi I have to leave the house na nakapaligo at nakapag-vitamins na yung baby ko, no? So I really cannot come to class as early as 7 a.m. So that was a consideration. Okay? And that is something that I am grateful about kasi yun yung mga kino-consider din ni Dean. Okay? Ano pa? Organization. The teacher should stay organized. Oh my God. This is a challenge for me because if you come and see my working space, no, sa dami ba naman ng papel na kailangang i-check, I could hardly organize. But definitely, if you would ask me, ma'am, is there still could you still ensure that our test papers are checked and graded? Of course, no? That is one thing that I could assure you. You may ask your ates and kuyas in the higher years, no? Um, I keep that as my responsibility and I do that. Okay? So yan, organization, what else? We also have instructional technique, no? So yung uh, kung paano, gaano ka-flexible, yan na. Kasi katulad niyan, the past weeks, we cannot do otherwise. It's outside our control that classes are suspended, that there are declarations of work suspensions even. So how flexible is our delivery? And even the teacher, how flexible is the teacher in still carrying out his or her responsibility to what? To present the content, no, in a manner that you could still learn amidst and despite of this situation that we are into, no? So even how could the teacher adjust, no? Adjust tasks, no, relative to your capacity, no? So it could be the strategy of the teacher to actually let you work collaboratively instead na individual ang output, pwedeng group output, pwedeng trio, pwedeng duo, no? So that there still is interaction, even if it's not face to face, especially in our case right now, that what we are doing is what? Asynchronous or synchronous classes, no? So, ayan. Are the techniques also reflective of your learning styles? Meaning to say, do teachers also consider your learning styles? Okay. So, in the first place, no, you would not be able to realize your learning style if you would not reflect, no, onto how you learn effectively, no. Kaya babalik at babalik tayo dun sa metacognition, o learning how is it to learn. Okay? Ano pa ba yung mga na topic natin na pwedeng ikabit natin dito o i-relate natin dito? Ayan. Communication at the same time is also an element, no, of classroom management, because there can be no such thing as good teacher learner relationship if there is no communication. Okay? So, clarity even as to boundaries and limits, no, in terms of who would do this, or what is it that teachers expect of you, no, the do's and the don'ts and the like, no, would not be made clear, no, or would not be established, no, if there is no communication. Okay? So, what are the importance of effective classroom management? Why is it that teachers must always consider, no, not only their instructional technique, but also how they manage the class effectively, no? So there are actually a lot, no? The significance would not only be directed to the teacher but also to the students, no? But in general, here are some of the importance of effective classroom management. So we have first, effective teaching. So if the teacher is able to have what we call effective classroom management, or if the classroom management of the teacher is effective, okay, as can be gauged by the strategies that he or she would use, no? In delivering the content, in disciplining the students, in ensuring that there would be order in the class, okay, or that tasks are effectively carried out, no? Then one of the importance would be that the teacher could effectively teach. Okay? So I'm sure you know what it meant by that. When the teacher is able to carry out the learning content effectively, and you were able to learn, no, as students, no? And um, masasabi nyo na, ay, magaling itong teacher namin. Hindi lang dahil magaling siya magturo, kundi dahil kaya niya ring kontrolin ang discipline ng learners. Okay? Ano pa? Okay. So, efficient use of time. So, walang nasasayang na oras dahil maganda yung classroom management. So, whenever there are routines that are established, meaning to say, pagpasok pa lang, alam na ng bawat isa kung ano ang inaasahan sa bawat isa at kung ano ang dapat gawin. So, therefore, there would be no what? No wastage of time, no? Because students are able to accomplish the tasks that are expected of them. Another would be consistency. No? So if the teacher would exude a consistent pattern of what? Management skills, no? And even uh, what? Management of student behavior, then there would be what? There would be discipline, and discipline could actually be maintained, or we could say that discipline is maintained. So with that, there is consistency. Okay. Then we also have fewer behavior problems. No? So as you've heard a while ago, if what? If teachers are consistent as to how they manage the class, um, for in disciplining students, for instance, then consistent as well in um, what? In implementing rules, no? Then there could be fewer behavior problems. Okay? So there is a reduction in misbehavior. Now, on the part of the teacher, what are some of the importance of effective classroom management? So we have the following. It helps create a conducive learning environment. Okay? So meaning to say, when teachers are able to, again, show consistency, able to manage classroom discipline and all, then the teacher is what? Helping in the creation of a conducive learning environment. Okay? It helps avoid waste of time. Nabanggit na natin kanina. Pati yung consistency, nabanggit na rin natin yung kanina. So all of those actually, which we mentioned earlier, were importance of effective classroom management on the part of the teacher. It results to fewer behavior problems. So it reduces misbehavior. It helps boost the morale of the teacher. Okay? Siyempre, kasi the teacher would be more confident handling the class because it is as if that he is an effective teacher. Okay? Ayan. So, consistency ulit yung nandyan. Okay. What about on the part of the student? It creates structure and achievable goals for students. No? Because if teachers are able to manage effectively the class, then part of what is laid down would be rules. And if there are rules, there are structures. Expectations are clear. And hence, goals are achievable. What else? Ayan. It informs students about what is expected of them. So you are made aware of what is expected of you in terms of tasks, in terms of output, and even in terms of discipline. And it increases task time and reduces classroom disruptions. So, yung wastage of time ay naiiwasan. Now, there are 4 rules of classroom management, no, which can be taught about by teachers. Okay? So rule 1 is get them in. So how do you let your student, when you let your students enter the class, are there rules? Okay, sa college hindi masyado, no? Kasi unless you are moving from one class to another, no? Dati meron tayong technique dito sa college na ang nagmo-move ay yung students, no? Ibig sabihin, permanent yung permanent yung um permanent po yung teacher, yung assigned teacher in a particular room. And then ang lumilipat ay yung mga estudyante. Okay? So, um, maganda din ba yun? Maganda bang strategy yun? Yan ay nung pandemic pala, no? Para maiwasan ang... Ay, hindi. Nung pandemic, yung mga estudyante, doon na pala nag-start. Yung mga estudyante, sa isang room lang sila, hindi sila nag-move out. No? So, it's the teacher who enters the classroom and the students have permanent classroom assignment. Okay? So, ayan. Basta dito sa getting them in, it's more of a, it's more of a, it's more of how, I mean, the proper order on how you would let your students enter the class. So from greeting to starting. Okay? So how do you do this? How could you do this? No? So either mayroong established um merong established technique ang teacher. Pwedeng mauna siya, mag-antay siya doon, tapos meron siyang paraan ng pagpapapasok. Kung may seating arrangement, then alphabetical ang pagpasok. Pero kung wala naman, then most likely it depends on how the uh, it depends on how um, on the strategy rather of the teacher. Okay? But nevertheless, in this particular task, no, it establishes the teacher's role, no, as host receiving the class. No? And it underlines the authority of the teacher. So para bang the teacher is telling that I am one in authority and I have to be and that I am in charge. No? So there is a practical advantage of being able to check whether the room is tidy, meaning to say if the teacher enters the class before the students would come in, the teacher is given enough time to check on whether or not the classroom is a conducive place to learn. So if there would still be if there would still be time for the teacher to clean up, tidy, look into availability of materials and the necessary what do you call this? Instructions, or should there be things that you have to erase on the board, no? So these are all part of the first rule. Okay? So ano ba napansin nyo sa college? 'Di ba? Walang masyadong particular strategy or rule. Kasi may mga teachers na nagsusulat sa blackboard at hindi nag-e-erase. Tama ba? So pagdating nung next teacher, ayan, para bang problema na nung next teacher kung sakaling gagamitin niya yung blackboard, edi mag-erase siya ng blackboard. Ganun ba 'yon? So, ano ba, walang masyadong consistency, no, as to how it should be done. So para bang innate o na-imbibe na, depende na lang siguro kung na-imbibe sa routine niya o sa practice niya na bago siya magpa-dismiss ay mag-erase siya ng writings on the board para ready na for the next teacher to use. Okay? But nevertheless, this all forms part of sana the rule 1. Okay? In terms of seating and spacing, okay? Ano ba ang importansya? Bakit kailangan? Well, it has to do with movement and flexibility, no? So if sitting, not much in sitting arrangement, although it could be, no? So um the task also, is the sitting arrangement and the spacing of students um conducive or facilitative to the performance of the task, no, in that particular class, no? So ayan, o dito papasok yung meaning ng placement ng teacher's desk. So that if the teacher's desk is placed at the back of the classroom, okay? Naalala ninyo nung elementary o nung high school kayo, saan ba nakalagay ang teacher's table? Is it at the back? Because if it's placed at the back of the classroom, then it promotes daw a learner-centered environment. No? And it provides a workspace both for teachers and students. No? And when, for instance, you call out a student because of some misbehavior, the student has to go to the teacher's table at the back, eh, it would not, it would be somewhat a confidential session. Hindi lahat ng mga classmates ng estudyante ay makikita kung ano yung, although syempre, hindi naman siguro yung soundproof, ano, they could still listen, but ah, they could not eventually observe directly, no, what is going, what is going on in case you call out the student or the learner. Okay? What about if the desk is in front, no? It conveys that it conveys a teacher-directed environment. Oh, 'di ba? So, ibig sabihin um most of as to how your teacher's table is placed here in the college, no, nasa harap siya, no, so para bang teacher centered, no. Anong advantage? It allows the teacher to see most areas of the classroom and monitor students at work. Okay? If it's placed at the center, yan, so teacher facilitated environment pa rin. Okay? So the student sitting arrangement promotes actually a teacher facilitated environment. While if it's on the side or off the side of the classroom, it sends a message that teacher's desk is his or her personal workspace. Okay? So how do your teachers start their class? No? So usually in my case, no, at times I ask you to recall past lessons so that we could bridge, no, the new lesson with that of the previous lesson. Okay? Um, uh, well, it depends. No? There are instances where teachers would give you tasks and then you process the task. After doing the task, there is processing and then there is what? Discussion of the task in relation to the content. Okay? So, ayan. Now, another is get them out. So, when you are asked to go out or to move out, no, this involves the task of concluding and dismissing. So, when, for instance, your teacher concludes the class, no, because the teacher is about to dismiss, no, so they consolidate, teachers consolidate and reinforce learning. Okay, so the teacher checks on whether you've learned something or not, no? Kung minsan may pa-recitation, kung minsan may pa-quiz, kung minsan may summarization, no? So, may sharing, for example, no? So, this is a prelude to dismissing. Okay? When you are being dismissed, paano ba? Wala na. Nung high school tayo, elementary tayo, di ba, mayroon tayong ready na concluding statement. Goodbye, ma'am. Goodbye, classmates. Di ba? See you. Ngayon, wala nang ganun, di ba? Okay, kung minsan, lumalayas na lang yung teacher. Kasi andyan na yung next teacher, di ba? Hindi pa nga tapos yung activity kung minsan nandyan na yung next teacher. Okay? So, there are a lot of strategies. There are diverse strategies, no, in dismissing. But nevertheless, for elementary, usually kapag nagpapadismiss, di ba, merong signal, nagre-ring yung bell, no? What should you consider when you dismiss children, especially in the elementary, no? Student safety or the learner's safety. Okay? Ano pa? Another is get on with it. No? So what do we mean by this? No? It refers to the main part of the lesson, the nature of its content, and the manner of its presentation. So meaning to say, in Rule 3, we are on that stage where content is being delivered or presented in class. And hence, we speak of content itself and the manner of delivering it. So when you deliver content, no, do you always ask uh, how related the content or the task is to the content? If your strategy is you give them tasks and then you present the content, okay? Or when you, kasi syempre, it's no longer a question of whether the lesson content matches the ability of the students, no? Kasi actually, yun ang problema ngayon sa curriculum natin. Hindi talaga nagmamatch. Tingnan nyo sa elementary. Masyadong mataas ang kanilang mga inaaral ay hindi angkop sa kanilang edad. No, I could tell this because I'm a mother and I could see the lessons of my sixth grader daughter, no? Kaya parang nawawalan na ng saysay yung principle o yung law of readiness na sinasabi natin. They are not actually developmentally ready for the tasks or even for the content. Kaya nga, kuminsan, if or not, hindi kuminsan, it must be, no, for teachers, how can they present the content in a manner that it still matches the ability or even the age of the learners. No? So simplify. If it's too complex, simplify. No? Ewan ko, pero may mga teachers ba sa elementary na nagpapa-report? O meron, may mga ganon. Hindi siya appropriate na strategy. Bakit? Although siguro merong particular reason or purpose yung teacher na yon of why he or she's doing it. But for elementary pupils, no, to be reporting, syempre babasahin lang nila yun. They could not articulate, no? I mean, they could not expound, no? Because cognitively, no, may mga concrete learners pa yung mga yan. They will present it as to how they understood it. No? And so, it must not be a strategy for elementary pupils. You can do that in high school, senior high, or even in college, but not in elementary. Okay? When you deliver content, one of the issues you also have to consider is the time. So there's what we call allocated time, the total time for teacher instruction and student learning. So when you say discuss plus activity, that's the time that is allocated usually is how many hours, no? So you should lay down or you should make it sure that the activity is completed, no, within that time frame. No, kung minsan hindi ito nagmamaterialize sa atin, di ba? Kulang yung oras. May pa-activity, kulang yung oras, no? Instructional time, the time teachers are actively teaching the learners. So ito yung discussion, per se when you discuss. Engaged time, the time students are involved in a task, no, to develop the desired competency. So be it an application task or usually application task, no? So how much time is given to you, that's the engaged time. And the academic learning time, the time teachers can prove that learners learn the content or mastered the skill. So if you are asked to reproduce the competency through assessments, no? Pwedeng ano yan, ano ba yan, paper and pen, I mean, test, no? Exams and performances. Okay? And we also have manner, the manner of delivering the content, no? So in here, we refer unto how well your teachers are able to communicate. Because of course, that's one thing, communication plus the kind of relationship that the teacher had established, no? So there is what we call with itness and smoothness. So with itness is the somewhat dated term which describes the timeliness virtue of being able to provide work at a suitable level and administer a system in which pupils or learners know what to do, where to get help if needed, and what to do next when they have finished an assignment. Okay? So, um, all of these are, of course, possible through communication. You would definitely instruct your students what to do. The clarity of the instruction um, uh, is imperative so that the student would actually be able to carry out what you expect them to do. And in case they need substantiation or scaffolding, no, are they also aware where to seek help? Are you as teacher open to some sort of what? Giving time beyond your instructional time to assist students who are not able to actually really learn, no, from the content. Okay? So what are your strategies? Do you ask them to, do you give them, do you give students, yung mga slow learners ba, more tasks, more time, or more assistance, no? So things like this. Ano pa? Smoothness refers to the ease with which pupils move from one activity to another, no? So that if they were able to complete one activity, what should they do the next, no? So usually kung module, siguro ito yung mga ano, ito yung mga considerations when they are working on a module, meaning to say on their own, they read, they understand, comprehend, they do what's on the module as per instruction, and then what should they do after that, no? So if there is a clear routine that was established, then there could be what we call with itness and smoothness, no? So in the delivery of the content. Then meron din tayong tinatawag na lighthouse technique, no? So the manner in which a teacher addresses a class reflects an attitude and conveys a message not only through what is said but also through how it is said, no? So kung minsan yun yung issue ng mga bata, no? Kahit na hindi ka naman ano, hindi mo naman sila pinapagalitan ng walang dahilan, no? Or um actually ikaw ay nagbibigay lang naman ng pangaral. Pero dahil merong misinterpretation sa kung paano mo sinabi yung advice mo o yung pangangaral mo sa kanila, what? Ah, ikaw na ngayon ang masama, no? So, there's what we call communicating through eye contact. No? Kasi sabi nila the eyes are your windows, no? The eyes are the windows to the soul. Ganun ba 'yon? So, lighthouse technique is when you communicate with them with an established eye contact, no? So, ibig sabihin, you are sincere and genuine in terms of what you say. When, for instance, only one of the members of the class misbehave, then you communicate to that very person. Ang problema kasi sa atin ano no, well, I am guilty to this. Kapag merong isang nag-misbehave, lahat na sila, no, ay pagagalitan mo. Lahat na sila pangangaralan mo, no? O, kung minsan guilty ako diyan, no? Although of course, you have to direct the feedback to the person whom you should refer the feedback. Parang yun yung sinasabi nitong lighthouse technique. And then we also have what we call Rule 4, get on with them. So teachers develop good personal relationships with their pupils by fostering mutual trust and respect. So there are two considerations, knowing who's who and keeping track of what's going on. Okay? So awareness of principles of the uniqueness of learners or yung individual differences na sinasabi natin. Okay? And of course, you can only come to know the differences if you come to know them individually. So, ang basic dictum dito ay, do you know your students? Do you know their names? Aba, kung minsan guilty na naman ako dyan kasi hindi lahat sila ay alam ko ang pangalan. Usually, ang mga kilala ko lang ay yung mga active, yung mga nagre-recite, yung mga, ano ba? So, usually, mga ganon, no? Now, how could you help know your students? Is there a need for you to come up with a sitting plan? Is there a need for you to submit an index card with picture on it? So there can be a lot of strategies by the teacher to ensure that they know their students, okay? And that they are able to use their names correctly. So, ayan. Keeping track of what's going on, no? So, um, acquiring sensitivity to the class atmosphere depends on a combination of mobility and marking. So, what do we mean by that? So, mobility involves the avoidance of teachers becoming desk-bound. Hindi ka lang nakaupo doon. Kapag ba nagtuturo ang teachers nyo, nandun lang siya sa mesa, nakaupo sa teachers desk, nasa teacher's table lang ba siya? Nandun lang siya? Salita lang siya ng salita doon? Okay? So, you cannot be able to observe what's going on in the class if you remain seated there for the whole 1 hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours or 1 hour of your subject. No? So, you have to be mobile. You move around the room and if you are giving them tasks, you mark those what? Who are working in progress. No? Parang elementary ang setting nito, no? Pero ang point lang dyan ay that you are able to observe the class. Okay? And then, we also have these classroom management strategies. So, as a concluding topic or subtopic for lesson 1, we deal on the classroom strategies or classroom management strategies. There can be a lot depending on your framework, and these are just but some. Okay? So, first is, as a teacher, you should have a positive attitude. Okay? So, kung minsan challenge ito, lalong-lalo na if you have problems at home. But, sabi nga nila, if you're a teacher and if you have problems at home, you have to leave them home. Di ba? Sabi ganon, hindi mo kailangang dalhin. Because whether you like it or not, it will affect your manner of delivering the content, your manner of dealing with your students. Okay? So, sabi dyan, a teacher who has a positive attitude would what? Would also have students with positive attitudes. Parang mirroring effect lang ba yan? So, this is what you give us. This is also what we give in return. So, if you're giving them a positive, a good ambience, then they would what? They would respond in the same energy, okay, or in the same level of energy. Okay? Second is set your expectations early and clearly, no? So at the start of the class, at the beginning of the class, you lay down your roles. And of course, you have to what? You have to be firm, fair. Ano yung mga pinagsasabi natin kanina? If you establish your authority as a teacher, then your student actually must be able to get that, oh, the one in authority is our teacher. Okay? So, you start tough. Parang dito nakikita ko yung may mga posting sa Facebook na kapag yung strict daw yung teacher, maganda daw ang kinalalabasan sa mga estudyante. So, well, it's up to you to siguro reflect, no? And to which style do you think you are, you could more likely what? Be productive. Meaning to say, what teaching style or teaching management style um, would fit, no? You, no? Which in one way or the other would make you uh, be also effective learners. Okay? So, ayan. Then, develop a good rapport with your students. No? Hindi niya sinasabing a, develop a sexual relationship. Good rapport lang, ha? Okay? Baka you go beyond that. Okay? You develop a good rapport. No? Meaning to say, while there is authority, um, um, while you should impose authority, no, it must not be in a manner that would also what restrict your students freedom, not not degrading, or not um disrespecting, no? So and even the most basic rights of your students are being safeguarded. Okay? Then have clearly defined consequences. In case of misbehavior, what happens? And the last but not the least is consistency. You have to be consistent. Okay? So if there are rules, there are consequences to defiances of the rules. And if there are consequences, then punishment must be applied consistently. Okay? So, I guess that's the end of lesson 1. I'll cut it here. I'll do another lecture for lesson 2. So, good day.